2036 regular meeting of Livonia City Council. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Robin Persicone. We're going to start tonight's meeting off by inviting Mayor Brosnan up to introduce our special guest tonight.
Thank you very much, President Reed. And I know you all know this, but the voice of Livonia's youth has always provided us with a call to action in our city. And back in 2024, this group of young leaders came together at the Livonia Youth Summit. They're preparing for their 2027 summit now, so they've come here this evening to share with you what they learned as a compilation of a day-long session that they hosted as part of the Youth Commission along with the Save Our Youth Task Force. They're coming here this evening, though, to not only share with you what they've learned from the summit in 2024, but to let you know about their plans for the 2027 summit. The summit asks all of our students to tell us what's on their minds, and it provides them a space for their voices where they can be heard, and it echoes a lot of times through pathways that create change in our community. This is a place where they are proud of their hometown too, and they come together around the things that make them most proud to be residents. So I'm encouraging all of you to listen closely tonight to the presentation that they have. They have a profound understanding of where they see their community headed, what the needs of the next generation are. They are very articulate in expressing how they hope that improvements can and should be made. They're very generous in their understanding of the challenges that we face as a community, and they're rich in their idealism, which I still think is amazing and important as we move forward. This Youth Summit is a collection of students from all 4 of our high schools, completed with a group of adult stakeholders as well as subject area experts that all come together for a day-long session, like I said, hosted by the Youth Commission. Karen Bonanno serves as the chairperson of that commission. It's appointed by the mayor. Karen can't be here tonight, but she will be at future conversations like this with other community groups. And then Save Our Youth is a big part of the sponsor of this event as well. Additionally, we have partners that come together from Clarenceville Public Schools as well as Livonia Public Schools, GrowthWorks, Hagera Health, and Schoolcraft College. Tonight, we're joined by the president of Madonna University. Dr. Doherty is here as well. One of his students is presenting tonight. So I think this is a useful piece of information for him as well as they go to make big plans for Madonna University. Tonight, you're going to hear from 3 of our Youth Commission members themselves. This is the first stop of their 3-stop tour. They will also be talking to the Clarenceville Board of Education as well as the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education to share the summary of their findings from 2024. I want to give special thanks to Janice Nowicki. Janice is with the mayor's office, and this is her project. It's one that she coordinates with a great eye for detail, an exceptional ear for the profound voices of the young people that this organization serves, and she has a heart that mirrors, not just mirrors, but actually reflects the passion of the young people that make up the Youth Commission. So without further ado, I present our representatives from the Livonia Youth Commission with their report.
Good evening, everybody. Everyone enjoying the weather we're having today? Beautiful out, isn't it? My name is Hunter Anderson, and I am a representative for the Commission for Youth and Children for the City of Livonia, and additionally a student representative at Madonna University. We in the Youth Commission are dedicated to continuously elevating Livonia into a city that empowers and supports our children. We promote academic leadership and community through several yearly community initiatives in service of the youth across Livonia. Additionally, our partner organization in the Livonia Save Our Youth Coalition focuses on combating substance use in school districts across Livonia. We work for the youth of Livonia because our children are the future of our city, our state, and our country, and ensuring that Livonia can support their needs through their childhoods will ensure our community will prosper for years to come. It was well over a decade ago in which the city gathered high schoolers from across Livonia to voice their pressing concerns in a youth summit. Our mayor, in our efforts to push Livonia into a brighter future, asked us to bring back the Youth Summit in 2024. It is imperative that we continue to give the youth in Livonia a microphone to speak about the challenges that they face. And that was the point of this summit. The summit gave students from Livonia's high schools a chance to directly raise issues that directly affect them in front of community leaders. We asked the student populations of Churchill, Franklin, Stevenson, and Clarenceville about some of the issues that they believe are the most pressing. Some of the largest areas of concern, according to our poll, include stress and mental burnout, college and future planning, mental health assistance, and substance abuse. The results from this poll were the basis in which we held the breakout groups during the summit to focus what specific issues are at play in our community.
Alrighty. Good evening. My name is Drew Bawadi with the Youth Commission here in Livonia. So, the first four topics that were discussed were mental wellness, college and future planning, physical health and nutrition, harassment, and bullying. So the first one here, mental wellness. There were three main takeaways or points right here. I'm going to just highlight one of these, which is the third one, cultural and climate at schools and community. Supporting students' mental health is not only a responsibility of our schools, but of the entire community. By increasing awareness, improving access to resources, strengthening family engagement, and fostering supportive environments, we can take meaningful steps towards helping our young people succeed. Local leadership plays an important role in encouraging collaborating between schools, families, and community organizations. When we invest in the well-being of our students, we are investing in the future strengths of our community. An example of what the city of Livonia could do to help with students' mental health is build a community where students feel safe, supported, and connected. The next one is college and future planning, and the point that I'm going to highlight is the second point, understanding of academic majors and various educational nonlinear paths. Preparing students for life after high school is essential for future strengths of our community by increasing awareness of skilled trades, occupational programs, helping students better understand academic majors and alternative educational paths, and improving knowledge of financial resources for higher education. We can ensure that every student has the tools needed to plan for their future. An example of what the city of Livonia can do is continue to expand the relationships with schools and colleges in the community, partner with the Chamber of Commerce to create a career exploration week for different industries. Next is the third point, physical health and nutrition. I'm going to highlight the second point here, which is nutritional barriers in schools, awareness, accessibility, and affordability. Supporting physical health and nutrition among students is an important investment in the well-being of our community. By addressing personal challenges, improving access to healthy food options, and expanding opportunities for affordable physical activity, we can help young people develop habits that support lifelong health. An example of what the city of Livonia can do, expand walking and bike trails, partner with Schoolcraft College culinary programs for youth cooking workshops. On to the next one, which is harassment and bullying. I'm going to discuss the second point here, which is social media. Addressing harassment and bullying requires a combined efforts from schools, families, and the community. By improving access to mental health support, promoting responsible social media use, and helping students understand healthy boundaries, we can create a safer and more supportive environment for our youth in the city. So what can the city of Livonia do? Set up an anti-bullying workshop led by officers at the library or rec center, launch a citywide Safe Livonia campaign. This can include a social media campaign that promotes respect and inclusion. Next will be Commissioner Ovia to finish this off. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Ovia J. Stunker. I am a senior at Churchill High School. I serve as president of the Rotary Interact Club, chair of the 2025 Touch-A-Truck, captain of Livonia Warriors Robotics, and serve on the boards of National Honor Society and Mu Alpha Theta. Moving on to our last topic, one of the issues and the fifth topic our students highlighted was substance abuse, particularly vaping, which students identified as the biggest problem in their schools. Students are calling for better monitoring, stronger consequences, and more importantly, more education, not just for students, but for parents and for staff as well. They also emphasize the need for anonymous reporting options and stronger mentor relationships, so students can feel safe coming forward without fear. So what happens now? The work doesn't stop here. While the Youth Summit was excellent for hearing the voices of our youth, our goal is to take everything we heard, every idea, every concern, every solution, and share it with the Livonia stakeholders who have the power to make change happen. The action item is clear. Create concrete plans that address these issues and bring those suggestions directly to the Youth Commission so they can be championed at every level at Livonia. And that brings me to you. After hearing the voices, opinions, and observations of Livonia students, I urge you to sincerely think about the solutions the City Council could implement to address even just one of these issues. Across all 5 of these areas, students showed up with thoughtful, specific, and actionable ideas. That level of engagement deserves an equally engaged response from this council. These issues are still very present in Livonia high schools, and we are excited to hear what plans you have in mind to combat them. As we begin to think about future solutions, I am thrilled to announce that the Livonia Youth Summit will return in 2027. Our youth deserve to be heard continuously, and we are committed to making that happen. Our hope when we gather again in 2027 is to look back at the progress made since this evening and celebrate the difference the Council has made in the lives of Livonia youth. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to hearing your ideas.
Thank you so much.
So a complete copy of the agenda that the Youth Commission has come up with is available. I think we've provided one to all of you. It's available online. There are some hard copies out in the lobby if anybody wants to take one of these and take a look and dive in and try to figure out how each one of us can make a difference. The work that these folks did was considerable, substantial, and we want to make sure that we find a way to come together with the City Council to address those needs that are most pressing for the youth of our community. So I think the first step tonight was taking this opportunity to listen, to make sure that their voices have a forum, and you did that. So thank you all very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Any council members want to add on to that, or Councilwoman Budzinski?
Yes, I just want to thank the members of the Youth Commission for coming tonight. I had the opportunity to attend the last Youth Summit, and it was really inspiring. We had hundreds of students from across the districts sharing their ideas, being vulnerable, working together and collaborating. And I walked away from that with just a lot of, optimism for the future in our youth. One of the things that you guys had brought up in terms of career planning and nonlinear options, I wanted to note that I believe the Chamber of Commerce the Livonia Chamber of Commerce and Livonia Kiwanis, along with some other groups, will be hosting for the 3rd year a Touch a Job event at Schoolcraft College's Manufacturing Center along Merriman Road. It's really a great event where you have the opportunity to experience welding first, like literally doing welding, working with electric things. I'm not in the trade, so pardon that. But also in medical and other career fields, Schoolcraft College is one of the partnerships. I think Madonna might be a participant as well. But it's just something to keep in mind. It's been in the spring the last couple of years, so for the youth out there, for parents or grandparents or those mentoring young children who are looking for non-traditional career paths, it's a great opportunity to experience it in a hand-on environment. So, that's all.
Councilwoman Tashnik?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also was at the summit with Mrs. Budzinski 2 years ago, and it was a great event, and great progress was made there. I'm not going to reiterate everything that she just said, because that was kind of what I was thinking as well, but I do want to invite you, if there's anything that you specifically would like us to help you with, or just advice, or would like us to come to one of your meetings, please reach out, send us an email. We all have business cards up here. We're on the website, and we would love to do that and support you in any way we can. I kind of live a youth summit every day in my day job, so at Churchill High School, and I would love to help outside of that realm as well. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? All right. Thank you so much for coming down. All right. Now let's get into the good stuff. This is a voting meeting. Minutes of this meeting will be approved at the next regular meeting scheduled to be held on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Persicone.
Present.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Here.
Vice President Brockway.
Here.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Here.
President Reed.
Here. All right, we have 6 members present. We were just missing Councilman McCullough. We hope he is well. At this time, I will entertain a motion for the minutes from the regular meeting of the City Council held on February 23rd, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
Motion
I'll
by
give it to Ms. McDonald.
Motion by Tashnik, support by McDonald. Any comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. And the minutes are approved 6-0. All right, we will move on to audience communication. The council has set aside 30 minutes for audience communication for items that are not on the agenda. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Tashnik will be taking the time on her clock. We do not respond to each comment, but we may choose to respond once the audience communication is done. And you can either speak now or at audience communication at the end, not at both. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Debbie McDermott from Livonia. I just want to take a minute to thank the Livonia Fire and Rescue Department. I know they're not sitting here right now, but maybe this will get back to them. My husband had the opportunity to use our 911 service for me just recently. And I have to tell you, they are the most professional, respectful, kind, and efficient group of individuals. So I just wanted everybody to hear that because sometimes things go right. And so when they go right, I think that it needs to be mentioned. So again, thanks to the gentleman.
Thank you. We'll go over here. Name and address for the record, please.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Snyder, 15500 Livonia. I'm here to talk about the police station. In August, 70% of Livonians voted against the proposed downtown, including the police station. Now, council wants the station in the same location on Brookfield with the same problems with wetlands located within a neighborhood instead of in Farmington. And it's going to cost citizens 1% administration fee, which the council decided that it's okay to give us despite all of the high prices that we're all experiencing right now. I don't understand why it can't stay in Farmington, and didn't council hear the majority of us in August? Livonians are angry. We want our police and fire staff to be paid well. Why not redesign the existing structure? Why locate the building within a neighborhood? Why destroy Greenland? Why don't you listen to the people? This council works for us, and it's time to listen to the people's voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Leslie Resnick, 19168 Perling Brook, 48152. I am here because I have some serious concerns about how the police are handling a matter. On February 13th at 3 p.m., a friend of mine was brutally beaten in Rotary Park by 2 young men. The police, I don't believe, have taken this as seriously as they need to. Their investigation, everything is under investigation. I did email, and I've spoken with Patrick Brockway, let me say that right. I almost said Broadway. And what they've told him is basically what they've told me, and they have not been in touch with the victim since shortly after this happened, and this has almost been a month. They did not speak to any of the neighbors. For those of you who don't know, Rotary Park is almost 100 acres wide. It would be bisected if the road went through by Curtis, and my friend lives on one side of Curtis. The first house on the west side of Curtis was built by my grandfather, and my mother helped to dig the foundation. When I was a child, I ran in these woods, and at least some of Rotary Park was donated to the city as a nature center for the city. So I have a little bit of heart into this incident, into Rotary Park. I walk there regularly. I don't live
walking distance from it, but I walk there regularly. I have, over the last 2 weeks, since I spoke to Patrick and decided to jump in and try to see what I can do to move things myself, I have spoken to probably 24 people in the park. Nobody's been notified. The neighbors have not been notified. I spoke to the people who live in my grandparents' old house. I know them, and neither them nor their neighbors nearby have been notified, have been questioned. There were some pretty specific things that could have helped the police or could have helped someone identify that these people were the ones who had committed the crime at the time. And had they gone into the parking lot and tried to talk to people, they might have helped to identify them. In addition, in talking to people, I found out from a woman last week, I have not independently verified this, but shortly before this happened, there was a man who was robbed by similarly described young men. So if there is a group of 2 men who are in the park robbing and attacking people, the community needs to know and the police need to do something about it instead of just sitting on their hands and saying, yes, we're looking into it. Patrick forwarded my concerns onto someone within the police department. They have not contacted me. It's been a week. So what are the police doing? And I'd like the council to hold their feet to the fire and try to find out what they're doing.
That is time. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Name and address for the record, please.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. Last month, we needed to replace the hot water heater over at the Civic Center Library. And so I noticed something that I've been noticing for years. There was a city truck, and the workers were inside working, replacing the hot water heater, and the truck was empty outside idling. And I went by there 3 separate occasions, and it idled the entire day. Now, this is something that happens all the time. I was at the Green Fair at Greenmead. There was 2 police officer cars. The entire time, 8-10 hours, they were idling the entire time. And I said to the officer, "Hey, your cars are running." He goes, "Yeah, I'm running the air. It was a hot day." All the windows were down in the car. So I don't really understand that. A typical light-duty municipal truck burns almost at like 0.8 gallons of fuel per hour at idle. Over 8 hours, that's 6.4 gallons in a single day. Over 250 work days, that equals 1,600 gallons per vehicle year. At $3.50 per gallon, that's 5,600 per vehicle annually just in fuel. If only 20 vehicles, think of the hundreds of trucks that we have in the city, are idling excessively, that's over $112,000 per year gone, burned for nothing, and that's just fuel. I bring this up because I'm trying to come up with the money for that RID plow, that $6,000 we got to come up with. Each gallon of gasoline produces 19.6 pounds of CO2. At 1,600 gallons per year, that's over 15 tons of carbon emission per vehicle annually. 20 vehicles, just 20 vehicles, that's more than 300 tons of emissions from vehicles that aren't even moving. And here's what most people don't realize. 8 hours of idling equals roughly 200 to 250 miles of engine wear. Over a year, that's the equivalent of 50,000 miles of engine runtime, accelerating maintenance costs, shortening vehicle life, and increasing replacement budgets. This is not about politics. This is about operational discipline. Most cities that implement simple idle reduction policies, a 3 to 5 minute rule, seasonal exceptions, and basic tracking reduce idle time by 30 to 60% within a year. That means real savings. 6 figures is not unrealistic. We would never leave a lawnmower running in our driveway for 8 hours. We shouldn't leave taxpayer-funded vehicles running either. Let's fix what we can control. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Christopher Martin, resident of the great state of Michigan. Just want to touch on a few things about the police. It almost seems to be the cone of silence. A number of years ago, there was a high-speed chase on 5 Mile, female police officer. She was 1 mile outside of the city when this accident occurred at 5 Mile and Beach. An innocent bystander driving northbound, I believe it was, on Beach Daily is where it occurred, was struck and killed. Now, never heard anything about that. Don't know what the procedure is for a high-speed chase in Livonia, when it's cut off, and what initiates a high-speed chase. We go back to about a year ago, high-speed chase. Car's cut in half at 5 and Merriman. The back half of the car ends up at the gas station, the Shell gas station, that is on the southeast corner. Matter of fact, you can still see the damage to the station, the burn marks. Never heard anything about that. Then, I know I'm limited on time, the shooting that was on Middle Belt, south of 5 Mile, I think I counted 5 bullet holes in the front window. That was on the east side, an establishment. I think it was a pawn shop, was close by a phone company or whatever. Never heard anything about that. It's almost like the cone of silence. Never hear anything. At some point, the police chief really has to show up, and you can get him in here anytime. It's right in our city charter. It's not a request, you can make a demand. And have him answer a few questions, okay? Because this is just, my opinion, it's just nonsense, not letting the people know what goes on in the city and what the outcome is of these high-speed chases and what their current policy is, if it has been even revised or if they even have one. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Wayne Snyder, 15500 Ingram, Livonia, 48154, if you need that. I'm dealing with the proposed voting location of...
I'm sorry, sir, that's on the agenda tonight, so when we get to that item, you can speak about it then.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, this is just for items not on the agenda.
Oh, okay, let me,
Yep.
one other thing.
Sure.
Is the police station
Go ahead.
that they are proposing, first of all, I think it's crazy that they're going to tear down the existing building where it's physically located, because it's right in the mainstay of the area. When people, if they need to get there, they know exactly where it is. And just like your own home, if you're going to remodel, 90% of you would remodel versus tearing your house down to start over if you needed extra room. And again, the 56 million from anywhere, what we're talking between 40 and 60 million price tag, which is just crazy. And again, I know construction nowadays is high, but having the 1% to add the 1%, because, quote, you can do it, that doesn't make it right, okay? And in fact, if it's not that big a deal, you could lower it by 1%. Guess, that way it would make a difference, right? So again, if they need to remodel and make room for all the necessary changes, they should do it with a remodel and not knock it down. Because, again, one of the biggest things that come out of this is that you're going to knock out retirement benefits and other benefits of your current police officers. And again, we always talk about our people are the most important asset they have. That's not the way to treat them. Again, thank you.
Thank you. Are you coming up for audience communication? It's this side. Yep. Name and address for the record, please.
Laura Janica, Munger Street. I'm going to read something from a young woman who is disabled, and it's just a little bit about her daily experience. And I will not be talking about voting at all. So this is from Iris Ramirez. She says, I'd like to issue a challenge to the mayor, the city council, whomever, to borrow my chair, though I'm sure there's a chair somewhere in the department, and see how living and working from a wheelchair for one day in this city is like. Let them use the little city bus transport. Try to use the library bathroom. Try to get into the city hall. Try to get up the slope of the auditorium. Try to go anywhere using the buckling neighborhood sidewalks. But I have no clue or word on how to do that or what an appropriate outlet would be. So that's from Iris. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Michelle Chambers, Kimberly Oaks, 34 years. I'm wearing this shirt as a reminder to you. The taxpaying residents voted against what was first promoted as a downtown, then promoted as a first responders necessity. We asked on numerous occasions what was Plan B for the first responders if the millage didn't pass. We were told there was no Plan B. We now see that was definitely true. Brought before you will be the same plan for the police at the same terrible location, and nothing for fire. This time, we don't get a vote. Why would a city want to hide its police station behind a large building within a few feet of residential property? Not to mention building on top of a wetland. We have prime property on Farmington Road if we need a new building. Taxpaying residents pay for you to sit in those seats. You were given that privilege in anticipation of you representing the wishes of the residents. In future elections, we will remember who votes for the people and who votes for City Hall. Hashtag no to Mo. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Jared, 2100 Middlebelt Road. I just want to second some of the other voices I've heard about new police offices being built. I think in a time like this, it's really backwards to use our budget on extending policing, especially when you hear people that are already emphasizing police aren't doing their job. Police are unable to do the things that they're being asked to do. That doesn't mean we need more policing. That tends to be a guise for higher salaries for police chief, et cetera. So really, I think we need to realize our budget on extending policing is oftentimes doing more harm to our communities than it is to good. And also, I think Livonia Police has made statements that they're not collaborating with ICE, which I would hope so. As we all know, ICE does not follow the constitutional amendments, such as the fourth one. And I would hope that they continue not to collaborate with ICE, as that is a very unconstitutional Gestapo. But other than that, yeah, let's not build new police stations. Thanks.
Name and address. Please keep the applause to none. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Jim Bigot, Lancashire Road, Livonia, Michigan. I'm curious to find out how we found out about this 1% tax that we could start charging that we didn't charge when we were in economic dire straits here. I find it odd that we're going to use it to pay for a building that not many people want when there are other problems in facing the city. We heard last year high numbers for maintenance that wasn't done. We see that there's a lot of problems in the city with being able to get in here for ADA. We hear that the library has problems. $6 million could really go towards a lot of fixing that instead of paying for a building that people obviously don't want to spend the amount of money that's being shown at the last study meeting. It really frosts me to hear that, 6 months after the whole election, we're seeing exactly the same plan, same numbers being thrown out, same location, same pictures. We had 2 judges that really weren't happy with the location because of parking issues that were going to come up. I remember one judge saying, who really wants a plaza between a courthouse and a police station for people to hang out, because who's going to hang out there? And all that was ignored. And so we're going to go through this whole thing again, and you're going to have a lot of angry residents. As you can already see in Facebook, which a lot of you'd say, oh, that's not really the population. It is. They're angry. Yeah, and if you look, there was a poll out there. The last time I saw the numbers, it was 60% were against building anything. There was less than 3% that were for building something right now. So what's the rush take some time, put some money away, and decide how you're going to really spend it. I mean, are we throwing the firefighters out and saying, hey, you guys, we really don't care about you because, the firewomen, the female firefighters, you don't really need to have anything set for you. You guys are out there fighting fires and you come back with all that smoke and all that junk on you. We don't care about you because you don't need to have your separate facility to take your clothes off. Oh, we're going to build this great state-of-the-art police station because that's more important. We need better facilities for those people. I talk to police officers. They don't tell me that. Only person that says it's the police chief and the mayor. I don't agree with what's going on.
No clapping, please. You're up, ma'am. I can ask you to leave if you want to do that. Let's keep decorum in here. I can ask you to leave. It prolongs the meetings. Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Claire Seresny, 18161 Lathers, Livonia. Good evening. I'm here tonight because many residents are seeing reports circulating online about immigration enforcement activity affecting delivery drivers in the Wixom and Livonia area, particularly Amazon Flex drivers. These reports include allegations that drivers are being detained during work or afraid to complete deliveries because of immigration enforcement. Whether every report is accurate or not, the fact that these stories are spreading means there's real fear and confusion in our community. Delivery drivers, immigrants, and workers deserve clarity about what enforcement activity may be happening in our area. I'd like to ask the council that they continue their current stance, which is to not investigate immigration violations or contact federal immigration authorities during calls for service, traffic stops, or other routine police activities, as was issued in the January 30th statement. I'd like some clarity from the Livonia Police about what policies exist regarding cooperation with federal immigration enforcement and what steps the city can take to ensure residents and workers feel safe interacting with local government and reporting crimes so this can continue to be a safe community for everybody. Transparency on this issue would go a long way towards reducing fear and misinformation and allow community members continue using public services. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Jay Murray, the mean streets of L-Town. There's a bit of a selection bias going on in this room, so I'm going to remind some people about the reality of Livonia. I'm certain, based on the generational differences going on in this room, that I talk to more people in this city than pretty much anybody else in this room. In fact, I know it. In fact, there's members of the city council that know it. The Livonia police are broadly popular in this city. I mean, I'm talking at like clips of like 80 to 90%. It's not even close. And I find it really interesting that this week, with all the anti-police vibe going on social media, proliferated by prominent Livonians, all of a sudden, I come into these meetings all the time for a couple years now. I never hear any bitching about the police. And then tonight, the very week that there's anti-police vibes going on, I'm listening to people bitching about the police. There's a selection bias going on in here. The city is pro-police. The city is reflexively pro-police. And I'll point out this, if we're going to get to when the road hits the rubber on this police department, we're going to find out which members of this council are going to be against the police. They're not going to be able to hide. And I'm also going to find out who in this community is anti-police, because I'm going to have a little bit of fun. All right? Everybody hear me? Everyone knows who I am? Sounds like a threat. That's right. That's
enough.
right.
It's his time.
That's
no
right.
Yelling out. We're not doing
We're
this
going to find out who on this council is going to be anti-police when the rubber hits the road. We're going to find out who in this room amongst the activist class is anti-police. And then I'm going to get to work.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Lynn Mills, Plymouth Road. On February 24th, I walked into the Livonia Housing Commission meeting at Silver Village with a handful of us from Livonia Vote No. We weren't there to start trouble. We just wanted to see what was happening with the Housing Commission and Golden Oaks, along with this big senior housing pitch Plant Moran was selling. But here's what hit me. No agenda was posted ahead of time. None. Not on the city site, not anywhere. Past agendas gone. Minutes vanished. Someone even flagged it on our page just days before. No Housing Commission agenda had been posted. And guess what? No agenda was available when we walked in. One board member had to shuffle off to the back office. As if we were asking for state secrets just to get us copies. Then poof, 2 Livonia cops rolled in. They were just there to watch us. Livonia residents asking questions. This is not police hate, by the way. Why the secrecy? Because Plant Moran was there pitching. 3 suits, 1 PowerPoint telling us we're all getting old. So we need this. Baby boomers, they said. Like that's new. They want us to cheer for their project. That'll take years, maybe 4, while the soil isn't even tested yet. The trees, they were already gone, chopped down, no warning, no vote in the minutes. Who signed off on that? We don't know. The city owns the land, and if it needs remuneration, guess who pays? The Livonia taxpayers. And yes, they will build wheelchair-friendly units. That's amazing. I give them that. But don't dress it up like it's charity when they're bulldozing first and asking questions later. This isn't about stopping senior housing. It's about doing it right. Post the darn agenda. Keep the minutes honest. Don't send the police there to stare down your own people. And for crying out loud, don't cut the trees down before you know the ground can hold anything. We're not the enemy. We're the ones who live here. If this project is legit, prove it. Open the books, show the chain of command, and let us see the paperwork before the next tree falls. Thank you.
Name and address for the record, please.
Denise Micah, Livonia. I do want to talk about the new police station, the study meeting. And one, I would like a copy emailed to me, and I can give them my email address of all the slides. I would like for meetings of the, that are in the study meeting of something this magnitude, that it be held in the auditorium and that it would be televised so that everybody could see what was going on and there would be full transparency of everything. I'm all for public safety, but that also includes the fire department. And Jim Biga brought up some great points on that. Some of the slides had the status of the contracts that were done previous to the August 5th vote, and that the city had paid about $2.5 million for, say, Granger Construction on the slide that I have just a picture of. Construction management confirmed no amendments needed currently, status of contract. That contract should have been paused. There's got to be something that has to be changed to that. It just doesn't like sit there and just wait for somebody. There should have been a termination of convenience or for that contract, because that contract should have not been paused. Hobbs and Black Architects confirmed no amendments needed currently. How could that be? Where's your period of performance? As a minimum, that would be the change that would be required of that contract. And the reason why I say that, I have a lot of years in contracting, and to say also that all the work I do, all the things I care about in Livonia, I do that for free. And I do not do that with any, I don't want to have any job, I don't want to do that. I just want transparency of what's going on with the city. And I can't believe that none of these contracts have to be amended at all. And I think everybody in the city should know about these things. And I applaud everybody that came forth today, and a lot of the expertise that we have in the city of the citizens and everything, and people on council that we could use to get something better and not to have a city police station. Oh, we made it at the one meeting I was at, out a little bit so you could kind of see it from 5 Mile. Let's see it on Farmington. I prefer a refurbishment, but Farmington's got a lot of property right there. And we could expand, give something to the fire department over there too. So I request to have these meetings public and not everybody squeezed into the council chambers, because it almost feels like it's...
That is time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that is it for our audience communication at the beginning of the meeting. We will now move on to council announcements. We have item number 19 and item number 21 will be moved to the regular agenda of March 23rd as requested by both petitioners. We have new data for item number 20, and I will hand it over to Councilwoman McDonald to announce the February 2026 retirees.
Thank you, President Kavanaugh. This month, we are proud to announce the retirement of Carl Peters. He's the former program supervisor at the senior center. He's been with the city of Livonia for 26 years and 5 months of service. Congratulations, Carl. We're all going to miss you. Did a lot of good things for our city and our seniors. Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Anything else from council? Councilwoman Persicone?
Thank you. Just a couple things. First and foremost, I do want to invite and remind residents that we will be having our second capital outlay and infrastructure meeting on the subject matter of a new police station this Wednesday. This was an issue that I brought to council back in January, and I specifically asked for a report and recommendation on this topic from the administration, that topic being the subject matter of a new police station. So that is what we're discussing an outlay right now. The administration initially presented their plan on March 2nd, last Monday, and we'll be continuing this discussion on Wednesday, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're having a discussion. We're gathering the information from the administration, and we are reviewing it all, and we're asking questions. I also want residents to know that there are going to be a variety of subject matter experts that will be at this meeting to address a lot of questions and concerns that have been raised predominantly on social media. And I also want to caution residents not to get all of your information from social media, and I encourage you to come to these meetings. The presentation from the administration is already online. It's been online, and I encourage you to go online and look at it. The details are right there in black and white in front of you, so I'm not sure how much more transparent the actual proposal can be. It's all right there for you. Now, with respect to where we'll be, I suppose we'll have to wait and see the turnout to that. Obviously, if we don't all fit in the room, they'll be able to move it. That's something that we can easily adjust to accommodate the number of people that come. So I would encourage you all to come. Your questions and concerns are valid. We are looking into questions and concerns. We're getting emails. We're responding to emails. And we are working to provide for our police department. I personally was, my top priority when I campaigned was public safety. I intend to follow through on the commitment I made to the people of the residents of this city, and investigating a new police station is at the top of that list. There are a few other items that have been kind of commingled into this discussion, and I think it's really important to highlight that there are multiple avenues that we need to be pursuing when it comes to our public safety. We've got something that we're going to be hearing about later tonight regarding an operating millage for renewal. This is not anything new, but it's a renewal for a millage that supports our public safety. We're hearing people bringing into discussion benefits and payroll and retirement. That's something that's going to be addressed, not in capital outlay and infrastructure, but it's something that's going to be addressed later on this year when they engage in contract negotiations. All three of these items are not exclusive. Okay, we can move forward as a community on all three fronts, and we are capable of doing that. You have a new council. I am happy to be the chair of capital outlay and infrastructure and start to move forward on this important issue of a new police station. So I hope to see many of you at the meeting on Wednesday, and bring your questions, bring your concerns, and we are doing our best to get answers from the subject matter experts on those topics. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you, as chair of capital outlay, do you just want to call it now and move it down here? So people have enough notice?
Let's do that. That sounds...
Yeah, let's just say it now. Wednesday's meeting, 7 p.m. Capital outlay will be in this room. So there's plenty of room for everyone. Okay?
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
President
Reed. Councilwoman Budzinski.
I'm going to change the tone, guys, and talk about events happening this week and this weekend. First is the Livonia Women's Connection, which is a free networking event that I host with my former colleague, Laura Toy. Each year we host 3 events. They are free to attend. They are 2 hours long. They're just for women in particular to gather, but all are welcome. So if you want to come, you're welcome to, and to also spotlight different, assets and amenities here in the city. So we are meeting at the Trinity House on Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, no need to register. You can just show up, and it's always a good time. Franklin Players present Grease this week. They have shows on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I believe. Also on Saturday at 11 o'clock, I host my monthly coffee hour. It's at 11. I'll have Looney Donuts, who they were just recognized as like the best donuts in the state, I believe, which I know we already know that, but it's nice to get that recognition as well. So come, ask questions. I do a council update. We chat, whatever you want to talk about. I have no other afternoon plans, although some folks may be going to the Livonia Symphony Orchestra's concert at Clarenceville High School, which is, I'm not sure what time it is, but it is also on Saturday. And again, we're just one of the few communities in Southeast Michigan with our own paid symphony. It's a really, they do beautiful performances, and tickets are only $30, so, far less than the DSOs if you're, like arts and culture and want to enjoy it right here in our own city. So that is all. Thank you.
Councilwoman Tashnik?
Thank you, Chair. So I really wanted to share something really exciting. The Livonia United girls hockey team are the new state champions, and so that is very exciting. That was something they had. It's girls from all 3 LPS high schools, Franklin, Churchill, and Stevenson, came together as a hockey team. A couple years ago, they actually fought to make that a varsity sport so that they could earn a varsity letter, and now they are the actual state champions. So I have a couple of the girls in my first hour. They were very excited today that they were able to go from just basically like a club team just a couple of years ago to now being state champs for Michigan. And so I just, I'm going to reach out to them. Maybe we can get them here to give them a little props for that. Also, very exciting in our city. A lot of development starting to happen. I had the opportunity to get over to our new Cooper's Hawk. That was very delicious, by the way, if you haven't been there. I think that's going to be a great add-on to our city. And then, every time I drive by 7 in Farmington, I'm getting a little bit more excited about the way that corner is starting to shape up. So things are happening, and positive things are happening also. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Brockway?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last meeting and then kind of offline, I had a few residents ask about or suggested some kind of coordination with the Livonia Police regarding kind of a Facebook Market meet area in the parking lot. I just want to say I did send up some kind of very bare bones draft proposal to the department, and I will inform you when I get a response back.
Anything? Oh, you already went. Oh, you do have something else?
One quick thing.
Sure.
All right. Just wanted to let everyone know that Councilmember McCullough is out of town this week, and that's why he wasn't at the meeting. He asked if I would share that, and I almost forgot. And also, in the future, upcoming, we're going to be having a Senior Citizens, Families, and Environmental Committee meeting sometime in April. So, thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder, on Livonia's website, you can subscribe to every committee meeting, regular council meetings, study meetings, and you'll get an email when an agenda is posted, so you can be made aware of those meetings. Okay, nothing else from council. We will move on to reports from the mayor and other city officials. First item, we have communication from the Department of Finance dated February 17th, 2026. They were forwarding the departmental purchase report from the month ending January 31st, 2026. And we have received and filed. And then we also have our Director of Government Relations, Erica Smith, here to give us an update.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Last week, Congressional Community Project Funding opened up for applications. So the city administration formally requested consideration of funding for the Bennett Civic Center Library in the amount of $1.2 million for the fiscal year 2027. And this funding would support Phase 2 of the ADA accessible restroom renovation project, which includes renovating the remaining public and staff bathrooms on all floors of the library. The first phase of the project will be supported and funded through the Livonia Housing Commission in the amount of $450,000. And this creates the first ADA accessible restroom in the library, and that's in the atrium of the building. So just for understanding of how the process works, it follows the timeline for appropriation bills to be crafted and then considered by the respective House and Senate appropriation committees, and that typically happens in late spring through summer. And then the House and Senate will have to convene in a conference committee. They'll work out the differences in the bill, and then it'll get passed on to the president to sign. Our project is selected by the Congresswoman, and it follows the trajectory of last budget season. We could expect to receive confirmation in February of 2027. So I'll make sure to keep council updated as I learn about where our request stands. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Councilwoman Budzinski?
Do we have a timeline for phase 1?
We are working on that. There's a timeliness issue that they have to the housing has to work out with their finances with HUD. So I believe May 1st we should know more. Okay. So I'll make sure to keep you updated on that progress as well.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
you. Have a good night. You too. Okay, we will be moving on to our consent agenda. Items 1 through 16 on the consent agenda will be voted on as one item. These items were previously discussed at the study meeting that took place on February 23rd, 2026, and determined to be non-controversial.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman McDonald.
Thank you. I am requesting that item number 1 be removed to the regular agenda, please.
Okay, so item number 1 on the consent agenda will be moved to new business. And with the 2 that were taken off, that will become item 20. Item number 120. It'll be on the new business. Okay.
I would like to offer
Motion to support.
motion to approve, please. Thank you.
Support.
Okay, we have motion by McDonald, support by Tashnik, and this is for items 2 through 16 now. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. Item 7, LJAL. Many families participate in programs run by the Livonia Junior Athletic League. I did it for years and years and years. Back when Dennis Wright was involved, Mike Hissong. I mean, a lot of people funnel through that program. Parents assume there is some level of accountability because these games are played on public fields and school property here in Livonia. But when a parent has a serious problem with a coach, there is often no real recourse. Complaints stay inside the organization. This is a private organization. They go from the coach to the league to a board that is often made up of the same people involved in the program. There is no independent review and no transparent appeal process. So we end up with a strange situation, a private organization using public facilities, but parents have no clear path for accountability if something goes wrong. My question is simple. What oversight exists, if any, when organizations using city fields fail to address legitimate complaints from parents? If the answer is none, then that's a gap we should fix, because when kids are involved, accountability matters. So if you have a problem with the coach, you go before the board, which is made up of coaches. That's always been a concern with me with LJAL, and I've talked to a lot of parents that have had issues, and they have no recourse at all. And so it hurts the program, it hurts the kids, it hurts the parents. I understand they're not fielding a 6th through 8th grade girls basketball team this season because they're having a hard time getting coaches and players. So I'm hoping the council will at least take a look at this, and let's try to fill in that gap. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye, and that consent agenda passes 6-0. Okay, we're moving on to unfinished business. This is from the meeting of the committees. It's item number 17, the Economic Development, Strategic Planning, and Technology meeting of February 25th, 2026, and I will hand that over to Councilwoman Budzinski.
Thank you. I forgot I was going to speak on this. Let me pull up my summary. We talked about 3 items at this meeting, so buckle up. I will try to be swift in the summary. Present at the meeting were all committee members, myself, Council Vice President Brockway, and Councilmember McDonald. Additionally, Council President Reed, Councilmember McCullough was present, city attorneys Carter Fisher, Eric Goldstein, and Assistant City Attorney Sydney Rogers, Planning and Economic Development Director Mark Termina, Government Affairs Director Erica Smith, and Inspection Director Jerome Hanna. As noted, we talked about 3 items. One was a recall item from last year about blight and vacancies along Plymouth Road. We went over kind of what the council had recommended at the previous meeting as it relates to updates to our ordinances and exploring other possibilities for how we could inspect the interior of vacant properties on a regular basis, regardless of occupancy. Currently, we inspect occupied buildings annually, and then we inspect vacant buildings once they're set to become occupied again. We also discussed, expanding ordinances. We're looking at expanding a ordinance related to 911 abuse calls requiring help from the LFD to include the LPD as it relates to blighted businesses. And council members discussed details of some notable commercial buildings and perhaps putting those specific locations into committee for evaluation at a later date, so that there are those forthcoming actions. But moving forward, we are looking to, I know we had a motion coming out of that committee, although I'm not seeing it. I'm trying to summarize this. Okay. Motion to put forth to have the administration update the fee schedule to be more aggressive and provide a compound annual rates. So we're expecting, here it is, actually at the bottom. Vice President Brockway put it in. I did a nicer job writing these notes that you can read in Civic Clerk. Draft an ordinance expanding the ability of inspection department to issue civil infractions for blight and vacancy. So that was the recommendation from our director at the best course of action, which would give them kind of multiple avenues to pursue blighted properties. The second issue was data centers and the zoning restrictions that we could or should place on those items. Naz Cement is a Schoolcraft College student who has been working with me to research this item. He's done an amazing job looking at what's happening regionally and even internationally as it relates to data centers. I won't go into all of the research that was presented, but I will note that in 2024, 4% of energy use was by data centers, and this year alone it's increased to 12%. The impact of these data centers is environmental. It's also public health in terms of noise. And the use of water and electricity in particular have direct impacts on surrounding communities. We want to make sure that Livonia community is protected from these sorts of, this sort of business that is not highly regulated right now. There aren't a lot of great examples of best practices. So Vice President Brockway put a motion forward to have a 1-year moratorium to allow time for us to update our zoning ordinances to reflect the best practices for the standard use of buildings. And we're hoping to use the German Energy Efficiency Act as a model, as when we were looking at who's doing it best in terms of closed circuit water usage, renewable energy, and things that help mitigate some of the environmental and public health impacts. They seem to do it best, and so our hope is to have zoning ordinances that kind of set this high standard, so that if we are presented with this, we're prepared and we're doing what's in the best interest of our residents and the community. Finally, we talked about limiting the number of gas stations and car washes in the city. You know, we have a moratorium currently on car washes. In that previous agenda item, we talked about moratoriums on data centers that we're going to be doing. So that's 2 moratoriums on 2 different business sections. When you know, if we're putting moratoriums on a lot of different areas of business, it weakens the strength of moratoriums that exist. And we want to make sure that the moratoriums that we've already put in place are as strong as they can be. We already have an ordinance that limits the number of gas stations to 2 at a corner, not including the freeway interchange, so mainly along 96. So at this time, we feel that the need to act on gas stations specifically is not necessary, and so there was no action on that, but it does remain in committee. So that is the abridged version of the committee meeting.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience on that one? Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. Yeah, I attended that same meeting. I just want to address the blight. I'm glad you guys are dealing with it. Our head's been buried in the sand for years. Livonia adopted Ordinance 2844 in 2009 during the foreclosure crisis to address vacant homes and buildings that were creating blight and safety concerns. The ordinance requires owners of vacant structures to register the property, maintain it, and pass inspections before it can be reoccupied. While helpful at the time, several loopholes now allow properties to sit unused without meaningful enforcement. Technically not vacant properties. A property may look abandoned but still avoid the ordinance if minimal activity exists. Owners may leave furniture inside, keep utilities active, allow occasional visits, or claim renovations. The building appears abandoned but legally does not qualify as vacant. Out of town or LLC ownership, we're dealing with this a lot. Sears property comes to mind. Many vacant properties are owned by shell LLCs or out-of-state investors. Notices are often sent to inactive addresses, and the city cannot easily identify a responsible party, allowing violations to go unresolved. Properties can sit vacant indefinitely. The ordinance requires registration, but does not limit how long a property can remain vacant. As long as minimal fees are paid and the building is secure, it may sit empty for years. Looking at you, House of Denmark. Underused commercial buildings. If even a small portion of a commercial building is occupied, the property may not qualify as vacant. Strip malls or office buildings can remain mostly empty, but avoid regulations. 6 Mile and Newburgh. Practical fixes. This is your job. Modernize the definition of vacancy using objective indicators such as inactive utilities, boarded openings, Sears, or clear lack of occupancy. Require all non-occupant owners.
That is time, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love
That
to.
is time, sir.
Love to
Thank
help
you.
Oh, I'll pick it up on the next meeting.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening. Jerry Kersinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. A couple of items that didn't come out of Councilmember Budzinski's summary. The first one was potentially looking at a charter change if you want to change the fine structure. There's currently a cap in the charter. And the second item had to do with the data center issue from my standpoint. The biggest risk to Livonia is the use of water. So we currently pay large numbers not only to purchase water, but then to reprocess that water through the sewage system. So that'd be a huge risk to all the residents that live in our city because their costs would likely go up. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to clarify, you're done? Okay. All right, moving on to number 18. Item number 18, request to waive the city's noise ordinance. This comes from Reverend Dr. Rodrigue Constantine from St. Rafka Maronite Catholic Church in order to hold a cultural festival with music played by a DJ and live bands at St. Rafka Maronite Catholic Church located at 32765 Linden Street on Friday, August 7th, 2026 from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m., Saturday, August 8th, 2026 from 1 p.m. to 12 a.m., and Sunday, August 9th, 2026 from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Council?
Approving, support? Approving.
I'll support.
Motion by McDonald, support by Budzinski. Anything from council?
Does the petitioner want to say anything?
Hi, did you want to add anything from last meeting?
How are you?
Good,
Thanks
how are
for
you?
your time. I just wanted to add, we just asked for the extra time just because of cleaning and to get people off the premises. So on Sundays, we're only going to be there until 8 o'clock in the evening. So music will be off at 8 o'clock. On Saturday, we're asking for until 11:30 just because we will turn off the music by 11 o'clock. We just need the extra time for us to get people off the premises and also to make sure that we have enough time to clean up everything that we have to do so we can go leave. So also for Friday the 7th, we will be there until 11 o'clock. The music will be turned off. And just the time for us to be able to clean up and get our things that needs to be cleaned up, things that needs to be put away, and we're also going to be gone for the rest of the evening. So hopefully that we'll have a great festival this year. We have people that come from all over for this festival, and we have friends and families that gather for this festival. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anything from Councilwoman Tashnik?
Just real quick, I just wanted a clarification. We had talked about decibel meters at the last meeting.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Were you willing to
Yes,
that
we
into
were
place?
talking about that. They will work on that with the DJ that we're gonna, with the sound system and management that we're gonna be getting. It will be taken care of.
Okay, because we usually cap at 60. The one thing is the bass does not get picked up by the decibel meters, so if you can ask the DJ to kind of crank the bass down. Usually we want to pop up the bass at a party, but in this case, can we crank
Absolutely,
it down?
yeah. We talked about it with our, after the meeting, we did talk about it, and yes, we will be able to accommodate that.
Because unfortunately, that's the part that does transmit into the neighbors.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to be, gracious to you, but gracious to our neighbors as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Name and address, please. You'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Marr. I live on 14285 Hubbard Street. I actually am, in regards to that 11 o'clock and the 12 o'clock ask, I would ask that it is no later than 11 o'clock, only because last year on the Saturday, the music did not stop at 11 o'clock. The bass is in my house all day. I live on the other side of 2 fields from them. And not only was the music playing until after 11:45, my children could not get to sleep. I have 2 young boys, and I have to get up for work at 4:30 in the morning. And so I am forced to stay awake. Not only was that not completed, and I did call the police twice because I was unaware that they had asked for a longer permit. So I just couldn't understand why the music was going. I was told by the police that they would go and take care of it. They never showed up. They didn't do anything about it because of this permit. So my kids were not able to get to sleep until almost midnight. And then after they were completed, as people were leaving, because all this traffic files down Brookfield towards the freeway, there was honking, screaming and yelling. There's a PA system blares towards my house as they're telling people that they have to leave until 12:15. So me and my family do not get any kind of sleep. We're not asked anything about this. That bass is booming in my house Friday all day, Saturday all day, Sunday all day. And I am absolutely, this is a great event for their church and their community, but it is disrespectful to us as a community because my children are not allowed to sleep. I have been here for 13 years, and that cultural event has continued to get louder and louder and louder every year. And now that it's outside, we can't escape it. I have had all the windows in my house replaced. They are double pane glass. They are the highest quality you can get, and we still can't get the noise because the whole house vibrates. The whole thing, all we hear all day is boom, 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 from the time they start till the time they end. I would like them to start a little earlier so that they
Thank you,
end and are
ma'am.
done
That
by
is
11.
time. Thank you. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Justin Armstrong. I live on Barclay. St. Raphael Church actually is my neighbor. I'm coming here to speak in favor of allowing the extension of their permit to go later. It's going to be only basically 2 days, but they're going to go over the normal noise ordinance time for the entire year. So they're not asking for this to be a permanent thing that happens every single weekend or every single night. This is 2 days, once a year, for a very long-running festival that's been going on there for quite some time. I think people can learn to live with the noise on a temporary basis in the spirit of neighborliness and harmony. And so I urge the council to please vote in favor of extending the noise ordinance for this festival. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, and you have 2 minutes.
Vicki Johnson on Jameson Court, 52 and a half years. So I am bothered by St. Rafka's festival every year, and so I got a petition together and walked the streets, and there's a lot of angry people. They're not here today, just a few people. But it's just too much, even if it is only a couple of nights. It's 26 hours of a lot of noise. .6 miles from this. This is
Okay,
after
thank-
11 p.m. So that's only 23 seconds of it, but I have lots of recordings. But you have all of these names. And the church should take into consideration, it's not just the music, it's the loudspeaker with the volume all the way up. It just shakes you right out of your chair. It's just too much. And we don't have to put up with it.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Christopher Martin, great state of Michigan. I don't live in the close proximity to this, but these events go on all over the city. And it's unusual in the fact that the most complaints that people come and stand at these various podiums and talk about the noise level, these events are run by religious organizations. It's kind of amazing when you stop and think of it. Okay? Love thy neighbor. That's what I said last time. That doesn't come into play if there's money to be made. And I think that's what this whole thing is about. I know the gentleman spoke earlier at this particular podium, said, well, it's only 2 days a year. Well, I look at it differently. If it's only 2 days a year, you can turn it down. Okay? Have it be somewhat, reasonable, let's call it. Okay? If you want to hear some loud music, I guess you could go to various concerts and sit in the front row, okay, and lose your hearing, okay? But like I say, the biggest thing is that just be considerate of the neighbors. Forget about the money for a minute, okay? You're going to lose some money for a couple hours. That's what this whole thing is about. How many people you can get for so much ahead. That's the way I look at it.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Denise Michael, Livonia. I think the 2 nights and at midnight is excessive. I don't think Spree lasts till midnight either. And Spree doesn't have anybody right next door. I mean, they're across the street, but and these other things that we're talking about restricting, I like that 60 decibel and everything, but in the approval, I think it would be great if it could be amended to include all those different caveats to that. So when the police do come, they're informed and the residents would know and they would say, oh, it's more than 60 decibels or it's past 11 o'clock or something like that. Because it seems like a lot of things are miscommunication. And if we just tweaked it to what you actually say and it's actually in the paper, I think that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Sue Dobbin. I live on 14122 Hubbard Street. I live less than 2 blocks away from the festival. I'm asking you to please not waive the noise ordinance. We have a noise ordinance in place for a reason. If she's saying they don't need to play the music, then the ordinance doesn't need to be waived. The ordinance should stand as it is, the way it was meant to be, to protect the neighbors, to protect the children, to protect the people who have to go to work, to protect our sick people in our neighborhood who want to go to sleep. I don't mind the festival at all. I think that's nice to have a festival. But I think the disrespect of carrying on after our city's noise ordinance is stated, I ask you to please not lift it. Please. Leave it where it is. Let them have their festival. Let them have their fun. I don't mind. I just don't want it to carry on to all hours where it's disrespectful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Okay, Council. Oh. Good
John-
evening. Name and address, please.
Thank you. John Schaefer, Brookfield Street, across the street there. Just quickly, I just want to know, how many decibels were they allowed to? 60 or 90?
60.
60. And then what's in place to measure that? Like, we can say it's limited at 60, but what is going to be there to measure that the 60? What's going to hold them to the 60? One of the other persons had said that it was 12:15 and cars were honking as they're going down the road. What, is there going to be police to monitor that? Was there police to monitor that, or to, kind of curb some of that disrespect of people trying to sleep? So we can set things in place, but how are we going to monitor that?
Thank you. Councilwoman Tashnik.
It was 60 decibels was what I had proposed, and there's decibel meters that they can put at the property lines, or the police also have, that they can measure with.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Brockway?
I'd like to offer a substitute motion or amend the current proposal here.
So you just need to announce what your amendment is, and then we'll ask the maker of the motion if she's okay with that.
Okay. I'd like to amend the current motion. The petitioner has already stated that they stopped the music at 11. Let's put it in writing that the music will stop at 11 o'clock. That is what the 70-plus residents have asked for, is 11. I think that's a fair balance between going from midnight to 11. It's showing balance on the side of the petitioners and the side of the residents who live directly near there. So I'd like if we could adjust this, the motion is to adjust this so that it reads Friday, August 7th, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., and then Saturday, August 8th, 2026 to 11 p.m. and 8 p.m. For Sunday.
Madam Chair, while we're amending, can we put the decibels in there as well? If the maker of the motion is okay with that?
Ms. McDonald, are you okay with these amendments?
Yes, I am. I
And
am.
then the supporter.
And the supporter?
Oh, yes.
You're okay with it? Okay. So we have a motion to change the official times on the item to 11 p.m. on the Friday and Saturday, and then to also have the 60 decibels in writing. Anything else? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please take the vote?
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye. And item number 18 passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to item number 19. This comes from the clerk's office. It's a request to approve City of Livonia early voting plan as adopted by the Election Commission to establish the location, days, and hours of operation for Livonia's early voting site as required by Public Act 81 of 2023 to be filed with the Wayne County Clerk. Council?
I would actually like to support a denying resolution on this, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
Offering.
Offer support, yes, please, thank you.
Offer support on a denying?
Yes.
Okay.
She's moving.
Moving to
Moving to
deny.
deny. You need support.
You need
Oh,
support.
okay.
I'll support.
There you go.
Okay, so we have a denying motion from McDonald and supported by Brockway. Anything from council?
Madam Chair?
Ms. Tashnik?
Through the chair to the clerk, I just have a couple questions if I
Sure.
could. I know there's been a lot of talk about all of this, and, we need to get this done, obviously, for, it's state law, we have to have early voting, et cetera. Has there been any consideration of approving maybe for the primary and then holding for the general so that we could, have some time before we have to decide for November?
Under election law, every time you change a polling location, such as early voting, you have to notify all of your registered voters. So every time we change the location, it costs us at least $8,000 to notify our residents. In addition to that, it's also confusing, because if every time we move it, then they feel like we're taking it away from this site and moving it to that site. So there's an expense, and there's also a time factor involved.
Okay, thank you. I know a couple of residents had reached out and asked me about that, and so I wanted to clarify that with you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Budzinski?
Also, through the chair to the clerk, the clerk's office has a deadline to get an assigned location by April. Was that the understanding from our last meeting? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct. Under election law, by April 6th, we have to have our voting plan in place into the county.
For all of these reasons, as I stated last time, I understand the concerns about accessibility to enter City Hall from the ramp. And all of us and the clerk's office have all been advocating for a temporary measure to be put in place that would, and when I say temporary, look, is it for the election dates? Is it for a couple of years while we come up with a bigger plan? I mean, honestly, we all here want this issue to be addressed. We hear you. And that is what we're advocating for. And that is what I would like to challenge this council to make sure that we have in place for our August election. Individuals at their homes, if they, there are temporary ramp options. There are ways that we could look at making the grips along the ramp that currently exist more user-friendly. I think it's imperative that we find a solution, a workable solution, that allows people to enter this building while allowing the clerk's office to do its job in providing this information to the county. They'd have less than a month. We only have one meeting in between that time for them to even come to us with an alternative plan. So I appreciate the concerns that exist, but my hope would be that we can find a solution to that concern because of all the other reasons that the clerk stated at our previous meeting about why this location was selected. It's secure, it can be utilized, it has been utilized. The costs that are involved, the confusion that comes with moving the location. So I would like to offer a substitute motion of approval.
You have to offer a substitute first, then we have to vote, and then
A substitute.
She needs support.
Yes.
Support.
Okay, substitute offered by Budzinski, support by Persicone. Revote.
Yeah, so on a substitute motion, just to be clear, Councilmember Budzinski is offering a substitute. She wants to substitute for an approving. We have to vote to substitute first, and then we vote on the approving. So these are two separate motions that have to be made at this point. The vote to substitute, we just go ahead and vote, and then we'll come back and have conversation about the approving. Should it pass?
Should we do the substitute vote first or go to audience first?
No, you have to do the substitute.
Okay.
motion.
Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
No.
Councilmember McDonald?
No.
Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye, and the substitute motion passes 4-0.
Well, the opportunity.
The opportunity, Ms. Budzinski.
Yes, I would like to offer a substitute motion of an approving. Again, it is an approving because the clerk stated very clearly at our last meeting why this location was selected. The biggest barrier for this location is the ramp and accessibility to the building, and I recognize that. And she has until April 6th to get this to Wayne County. We have until August, August 3rd, to get a ramp solution to this building. I want to believe that we can do that. I sincerely do. Again, I know all 7 of us feel the same about that. I know the clerk's office has been working hard on that. And so I think that burden belongs to us to make sure that this building is ready for early voting. And I don't want to put the clerk's office in a position of not being able to do its responsibility and get this finalized to Wayne County in time for their deadline.
Okay, do we have support on that one?
You supported it, right?
I support
Oh,
it.
you did? Okay, yep. So motion by Budzinski, support by Persicone. Anything else from council before we go to the audience? Mr. Brockway?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I understand the viewpoint. I understand that the clerk has a short turnaround on this. However, that's not this council's fault that it's a short turnaround. It's nobody's fault. It's the way that the the calendars worked out. And it was stated that you don't want to cause a situation where the clerk's not unable to provide or to get in the information. I'm worried that what we're going to be doing is, by allowing this place, is causing people to not be able to vote. The building is not compatible with that ramp is hard to get up there. Okay, the ramp is too steep. There was an ADA observation, but there weren't measurements taken. That's not an official audit. That's an observation that was done by the Detroit Voting League. And there's all these things. The clerk has placed a letter to the administrations citing their concern with the building's accessibility. There are multiple examples of people having trouble going up that ramp. The restrooms, I believe, aren't ADA acceptable. This building is not a good spot. And while you say, well, where else do we have to go? That's not for us to find the spot. That's for the administration and the clerk to find a spot. This is not a good location. And it was put out there that we have to use a public located location. However, Chapter 15 of the Election Officials Guidebook, that is true. We have to use publicly owned, operated, controlled facilities. But if, there is an if, the polling location cannot be located in which early voting takes place, another location can be used as long as it's not owned or leased by an elected official or a candidate. By saying, okay, I'm okay with this, you're saying that you're okay with people not being able to easily vote. And remember, drive-up voting and being handed a ballot, that's an absentee ballot. If you're not putting that ballot into the machine there, you're not exercising your early voting rights. This was an issue in August of 2025, and before that. And this isn't the clerk's doing. This isn't the clerk's office doing. This building has had issues for years, but if you just keep kicking out, oh, we're gonna get this fixed, or hopefully, where's the hope when there's been no improvements in the almost year, since several months since the last election? Has my question through the chair to the clerk, you sent a letter to the administration citing your concerns with the accessibility here. I asked, what did the administration respond? That's my first question.
So first of all, my letter was not my concerns about the building. Last year during early voting, I had absolutely no resident express a concern to me about using this building. Not one concern during early voting last year. What I did receive is after the study meeting, residents did reach out to me and members of my staff. So it is a staff as far as receiving concerns from our residents. And the measurements were taken by our engineering department. Dave Lear is here to confirm that. And it does meet the minimum requirements. It does fall within the legal requirements of meeting the ADA's expectations. So it has been measured. It's been confirmed by our building and inspection department that it does meet the legal criteria as far as ADA. Now, under the ADA, you can temporarily change or modify a polling location. And that was my reason for sending the letter to the administration, to see if there's some type of temporary and or permanent fix to make it easier. So the goal is access for everyone.
Thank you very much. I amend that it was not your letter, it was a letter of concerns from residents. Thank you for the clarification. But the observation that was cited in our packet from August, that wasn't our engineering department, that was an observation by another group, correct?
That was an audit by, Detroit Disability Power Organization.
But they didn't do actual measurements.
They did not, but our engineering department did.
Okay. Finally, I'll just state, we have individuals, there was no record of anybody expressing that, but I've seen it. I've seen the old folks trying to go up the ramp. It's a difficult trek. even for someone that has no mobility issues. So we keep kicking this down the road. It's not enough to hope that we're going to fix this. Where was this fixed years ago? That's all I have.
Councilwoman McDonald and then Budzinski.
All right, thank you. For me, my biggest concern is that we are violating people's civil rights. And I think that it just continues, and we need to address this in totality. We just keep ignoring it. And, I hope that this council and the administration will take this seriously and to ensure that everyone has access to this building regardless of what it is. And that's my concern with this whole process. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Budzinski?
I want to say just two follow-up things. One, again, the type of temporary measures that could be explored, many of us here on this council have offered some suggestions that we can look to achieve. Accessibility, I'm not going to say that I'm an ADA expert. I'm going to say that, I'm going to listen to our clerk who has done a lot of training, and this is her field of expertise, who says that this building meets the required standard to do so. I'm also going to listen to her expertise when she talked about the security concerns that she has about off-site locations and special concerns for this upcoming election that she outlined in our previous meeting, and especially in using a private facility that can't be well vetted within the time frame that we're looking at this point. I think that we need to, again, do what is necessary to make sure that this building is accessible by August, but also recognize that there are additional concerns that affect all voters. Voter safety is a concern. It is a concern that affects every single voter in this community, and I don't think that should be easily dismissed.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Councilwoman Persicone.
Thank you. And I do want to say that we need to be really careful with our words when we're talking about this. We, in relying on the professionals, specifically the engineering department, and on those that conduct audits, it's confirmed that it's ADA compliant. Now, this is an old building. It still is ADA compliant in today's standards, but if we were to build a new building tomorrow, I'm sure that it would not look like that, and the new ADA compliance and the new developments and designs that have come out would look markedly different than this building. But the reality remains, it's ADA compliant. Can we make modifications? I don't think, as you've now heard, I think from every council member, that every council member wants to work to try to make it easier to access for those that have disabilities when they come to vote here at City Hall. And I think you've heard from all of us that we're all committed to doing that. So that is why I am personally taking the position that I'm taking. You can't just say something is not ADA compliant and not have data to back it up. The data that we've been given from the experts supports that it's ADA compliant, and that's what I believe others are relying on in making this choice.
Thank you. Councilwoman Tashnik.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, we all agree, this building is not ideal. We know that. We know that it is not the preferred way we want it to be. It's just the fact. And I certainly don't want to do anything that anyone would feel suppressed in their ability to vote. I'd like to ask the administration for a report and recommendation on the ramp access, and maybe working with the clerk's office so that we could get some answers forthwith on where we're headed with this.
Support.
Well, it's not a motion. It's just a report and recommendation.
She can still support it. But I'm still going to support it.
I appreciate the support and the enthusiasm, but yes, we actually already have a motion on the floor.
I know, I did realize that.
But anyway, if we could do something like that and maybe get some answers to council, because I am, as my colleagues have mentioned as well, committed to making sure that we can make this work and make it easier for all of our residents to access our building. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, we just have Mr. Brockway, and then we will go to the audience.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, so if we're to possibly use the location at City Hall, is there any chance that we could use the annex entrance that has as a ramp as well? It's lower to the ground, then it doesn't, then it would remove some of that requirement to go up that ramp. Is that something that could be reviewed, that could be looked at to see, as a means, it's a little bit of cooperation here?
Are you asking the
I'm
clerk?
through the chair to the clerk.
I'm sorry, are you just asking for access to the building from that entrance? Is that your question?
Question, could we use that? Could we find a way, because I believe there's some offices back there, right? Engineering and then Save Our Youth or something like that?
Save Our Youth and our election equipment is stored down there.
Okay, is there any way to
In the annex.
secure that so that individuals could go through that? We can make that the primary entrance, go out, and it would eliminate the ramp need, and I believe the ramp that's coming through there is maybe of a better grade. I'm getting Mr. Fisher saying no, it's not.
Yeah, so to clarify, we did look at this last year as well. The ramp from the annex to the main building is actually steeper than the external ramp, and it is not ADA compliant. So as noted, the ramp outside actually meets the slope requirements for the ADA. Those ramps do not. The annex itself is also too small to host the full array of voting equipment that we would need to put in there. So we have considered that requirement. The last thing is the door to the annex, which is ground level, is also the furthest door away from any accessible parking in the building. So we have considered that option, and unfortunately, for the reasons I just laid out, it doesn't work.
Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we'll go to the audience. We'll start over here. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Frank McDermott, Rayburn Street, Livonia, Michigan. Before my time starts, I'd like to say that a lot of my thunder here has been stolen by Mr. Brockway. And much of what I'm going to say now is redundant, but I wrote it out. I'm here. I'd like to say it. Under state law, with early voting, we can vote in person 10 days before the election. This year, the selected Livonia election, this year the Livonia Election Commission selected the Livonia City Hall as a voting site. As I mentioned, a lot of what I'm telling you is redundant. But the problem is that the walkway to the entrance of City Hall is so steep, probably not ADA compliant. And you all are arguing that, well, it is ADA compliant. Well, go out there and walk it with a cane, walk it with a walker. And as Mr. Brockway said, a lot of people have difficulty walking up that ramp as is. People with physical disabilities have a very difficult time walking to the entrance. The city clerk's answer to the problem is absentee voting. Per Mrs. Miller, a poll worker will bring a ballot to the voter's parked car. The voter will complete the ballot, seal the envelope, give it back to the poll worker, who will put it in the box in City Hall. This is not in-person voting. This is absentee voting. The plan should be voted down. Another voting site should be selected. I don't know why no one has mentioned the Livonia Library. Right there, they have rooms that don't have a whole lot in. People could walk in and it could be set up. Anyway, another voting site should be selected so people with disabilities can participate in the election with in-person voting. We will remember the council members who vote for this plan with the Livonia City Hall as the voting site. We will remember
That
the
is
council
time.
members
Thank
who
you,
vote
sir.
against people
That
with
is time,
disabilities.
sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Jerry Karasinski, 1948 Bainbridge Avenue. I think good people can disagree on that 8% grade requirement for an ADA ramp. I can see certain parts of that ramp are probably within 8%, but there are parts of that ramp that are higher. So by that standard, I would respectfully disagree that it's 12%, that it's closer to 12% than 8% in certain areas of it. So we, as a voter and not a disabled person yet, but I'm only a minute away from it. We all, just a slip, a fall, a car accident, some type of medical emergency, we're all in that standpoint. So I would ask council, if you're still adamant for having City Hall, put some stipulations in your motion to make sure that there are protections so that people that have disabilities can physically vote in person, whether that's bringing the terminal out and having it protected by a tent or something, or finding a way to get the disabled into the building with assistance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Paula Bowman. I actually live in Plymouth, but I am here tonight representing the League of Women Voters of Northwest Wayne County. The League is a nonpartisan political organization whose 106 years of experience has been focused on defending democracy and empowering voters. The Northwest Wayne County League actually started in Livonia in 1960. We produce candidate forums, voter guides, educational presentations, and we work to protect the rights of all voters. I'm here tonight to speak specifically about voting accessibility in Livonia at the proposed early voting site, Livonia City Hall. In-person voting should be accessible for everyone. Livonia is considering using City Hall for its only early voting site. This is problematic for those with disabilities and limited mobility. The inclined entrance ramp might be technically in compliance, but it is difficult to use, not just for the disabled, but also for senior citizens. As a member of the Board of Directors of League of Women Voters of Michigan, during the time that early voting was on the ballot and then implemented, I recognize this issue has challenges. I've personally been an accredited observer or challenger at early voting sites in several communities, 2 of which were held at churches. I have read your risk and vulnerability assessment concerning all municipal buildings considered for early voting site. I understand that City Hall was the best option, but I'm here tonight to encourage you to do better for the citizens of Livonia. Early voting was put into effect in 2024. There was plenty of time to consider other non-traditional sites and make the necessary adjustments.
That is time. Thank you, ma'am. Good
Early
evening, sir.
voting is not going
That
away.
is time, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve Kane, Coventry Gardens. I think the big issue here, actually a larger issue, a charter created an election commission above the process. So the mayor, the city clerk, who serves as chair, and the city attorney. Here's the problem. That 2 individuals who are not elected can override the decision of the elected clerk. She is elected and answers to the citizens, the people that put her in position. So 2 people who don't have anything to do with the clerk's job can go 2-1 on a procedural vote, and Lori can be vetoed. Right now, the clerk has her equipment everywhere. It's spread out over 3 different buildings. The counting boards, they do at the library. They do training somewhere else. I know, I worked the elections, done it for years. How about using the old senior center, ADA compatible, accessible? She could have all her machines there stored, all in one place, do all her training in one place, do mock elections, all in one place. She can have her own building. That's the respect that she deserves, instead to be overridden by the commission. And if you want to use the engineering department for cover, shame on you. Go to Facebook, look at K.H. Green. She's done the measurements with a tape. It is not ADA compatible. You can say it till the cows come home. It doesn't make it true.
Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, Debbie McDermott, Livonia. I had some things already planned too. We don't need to beat the dead horse here, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, it does, I shouldn't say it that way. It's not that it doesn't matter whether it's technically ADA compliant or not. Let's just use some common sense. That ramp is not accessible for people who have a handicap, okay? My problem at the moment is hopefully temporary. In the past, when I was in my 30s, I was in a walker. Have any of you been in a walker? You may have. You don't need to tell me. It's not easy. So as someone already mentioned from a person who wrote a note, let's not make their life harder. Let's try and help them. What about kindness? What about thinking about if it were you that were in that situation? It's just not safe for them to try and traverse the ramp. And to say that you didn't hear from anyone, Ms. Miller, I believe you. But I believe people don't want to call in that are in maybe those positions. They don't want to call, they don't want to email, they sure don't want to come and sit here for hours. Well, they can't get in to begin with, right? So the problem is, that's probably not a good gauge as to whether or not anybody had a problem with it and wanted to come and vote in person. That's just, I just think that that's not a good way to approach it. My opinion, of course. But we've known about this problem since last November. It's not new. It's not something that just came up last week. So I understand now you're on a time crunch, but that doesn't make it that it should be a problem for those that are disabled. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You
Hi,
have 2 minutes.
Cindy Fleming, Livonia. Sorry, my heart's pounding a little bit because this kind of gets emotional. And I'm just going to read what I just Googled about ADA accessible. This is from someone who is a former federal disability specialist. The maximum allowable slope for an ADA compliant ramp is 1 to 12, which translates to an 8.33 grade, or 1 inch vertical rise for every 12 inches, 1 foot of horizontal run. This standard applies to new construction with a maximum cross slope. I'm going to skip the rest because this isn't new construction. Key details and usage examples. Maximum rise. Ramps cannot have a rise greater than 30 inches without an intermediate landing. That ramp has more than a 30-inch rise. It does not have a landing. Just stop and think about how many steps you have to, if you're taking the steps up, which are at least 9 to 10 inches each, it's over 30 inches. The running slope must be uniform with a maximum 8.33% grade, and the cross slopes, and there's exceptions. In existing older or altered sites where space is limited, slopes up to 10% or 1 to 10 are allowed, and that's probably what they're going to say, for a 6-inch rise. Again, this is way over 6 inches. This is way old. It should have been addressed a long time ago. Please do not kick this down the can. You can alter this to somehow give additional scope, like Mr. Karazinski said, to allow people to vote. Roll the machines down if you have to.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Laura Janica, Munger Street. I also did Googling, and I can verify what she just said. We've all been Googling. So when somebody tells us we have to believe whatever people tell us because they're experts, we have Google now. I just wanted to tell you what some of the other cities are doing around us. And these are facts. I was in Ann Arbor this weekend. Ann Arbor has 3 libraries they're using for early voting. I asked them, how does that work? They come in the front door. The library's still open. They go into a room and they vote. It's that simple. You don't need 8 police to do that. They just come in and they vote. Farmington uses the Caustic Center, and they use one other center that's not even in Farmington. Dearborn uses the Performing Arts Center. Detroit uses Clark Park, Farewell Recreation Center, Adams Butzel Recreation Complex, 2 places at Wayne County Community College, the Northwest Activity Center. Huntington Woods is 1 square mile. They use the Oak Park Community Center, and they use the Waterford Oaks Activity Center, and they are 1 square mile. So a really simple fix to all of this, find one other place where handicapped people can vote. Keep it here if you want, add 1 more place. So my friend Darryl can come in his wheelchair and stick his ballot into the machine. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Jim Biggle, Lancashire, Livonia. Couple of things. I'm hearing we got to trust you guys to get something done before July, because if construction has to happen in time for the August 3rd primary. The last council, which some of you were on, asked us to trust you to do things. It didn't happen because you had to wait for the administration to propose it so it could happen. I don't trust it's going to happen. I've been through this for a year now, over a year. You're violating civil rights, you're violating ADA rights, you're violating rights of people. To go along with what people have talked about on ramps, did you know the building code for ramps in 1973, when the ADA was around, was a 8.3% slope? Some other engineer did a measurement on our slope, which isn't Mr. Lear, and I'm not challenging your measurements, but engineers, economics, accountants, you get a room full of them, you get that many opinions, and that just happens. We have a building called the Senior Wellness Center. We built it. Why is it not being used? Because it's not safe. We heard other communities are using multiple buildings. Are they not safe, but they're using them because you can vote? Is our threat assessment worse here in Livonia than other cities? I really wonder, because I work for the federal government. I had to go through threat assessments. I had to go through things that nobody ever wants to see happen. But I can guarantee you, you are not going to see an Oklahoma federal building here in Livonia. Why not recognize it, have the voting in a place that Livonia just spent $20+ million to build? Have it at the Senior Wellness Center.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Christopher Martin, great state of Michigan. I actually looked this up. On new construction, for every 12-inch run, a drop of 1 inch over a 12-inch span, drop of 1 inch. Old construction can still meet the requirement, but over a shorter distance, an 8-inch, 1 inch drop. So that would be a little bit steeper. Okay? I don't see that happening out here. I really don't. And as far as looking it up, and yes, there's a certain amount that there has to be a landing, is what it's called. But here's the interesting thing I took away from just watching this. You are getting paid to look things up. That's the way I look at it. I looked it up. I'm not getting paid. Other people looked it up just sitting here, and they're not getting paid. But for some people sitting up there to say, well, we're going to trust so-and-so because they're an expert. I don't trust any experts. I'm old enough to know that. I try to look things up myself. Also, people need to know this, that this has been going on for years. There's been discussions on the library, on this building. What is ADA? How can you get in the bathroom? How can you get the door open? Eric Goldstein, who's sitting over here this evening, he's the ADA coordinator. That's his job, amongst other things. ADA coordinator. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be just, he's a complete, Eric, in my opinion.
That's time, sir. Thank you.
Complete and utter failure.
Excuse me, that is time and very inappropriate. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
For the record, I like to be called Miss. Deb Christensen, Livonia resident. That was supposed to be funny. Anyway, on to more important matters. My question is, and you may not be able to answer this directly, a couple of you, only a couple, the third person is not here, who have been on city council, if you've known that this has been an issue, why hasn't it been addressed? Why hasn't it been addressed? I think we all deserve that answer. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Wait, sorry. Sure, go ahead.
Sorry. I just threw the chair.
Your mic.
Sorry, thank you. I had it up so I wouldn't get that. Through the chair to the clerk. There's been some discussion about putting an outdoor machine. Is that even a feasibility?
For safety reasons and security reasons, I would say absolutely not.
Okay.
but it's under camera. I mean, we could unplug it and roll it to a car if we had probably a reserve officer or someone with us. Yes, we could make that accommodation.
So that could be, if for some reason we cannot get this accessible adjustment in time, that could be our plan B.
That could absolutely, we could put that into work, yes.
Would the maker of the motion be amenable to some adjustments?
Yes. I would support that.
So I would like to offer that we are going to make every best faith offer to improve the ramp situation. And if that cannot be done in a timely manner or in an acceptable manner, that we will have the outdoor machine option, should we need to go that route.
Well, we're not leaving it, just for
No,
clarity.
not leaving it out there.
We're not leaving it outside.
You would take, but you would be able to take it out.
We could unplug it and roll it down that ramp,
For the
yes.
people that would request.
It'd be 2 people of 2 different parties, as well as a police escort for security. Absolutely.
But we could make it happen if we had to.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. But that's up to the maker of the motion.
Ms. Budzinski?
Yes, I'm amenable to that. Through the chair to the city attorney, could we provide a deadline for the administration to offer us a plan for a temporary ramp or a ramp improvements proposal?
I think you could request a deadline of the administration. I don't think that you can hold the administration to a firm deadline on this issue, just because this is an executive function that they would be performing. So I think you can certainly suggest a deadline, and I've noted the requirements stipulated by Councilperson Tashnik in addition to the request for the report and recommendation. So I'm certain that, I'll say that things are already in the works in terms of the administration's review of this, and B, that the administration's review will be timely.
Okay, if possible, I'd like to say that by April 6th, that the administration come to us with, or I guess maybe by our April 8th.
Our next meeting date, is that what you're?
Well, what's our April meeting? Sorry, my apologies.
I think it's the 8th.
It is the 8th. April 8th, that the administration come to us with a ramp proposal that makes it usable regardless of any qualifications related to ADA compliance and a cost, if we need to then make an adjustment to the budget, that we can vote on that and get it moving as quickly as possible.
Anything else, Ms. Budzinski?
No, that's all.
Okay. Anything else from over here? Okay, Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
No.
I'm sorry. Councilmember McDonald?
No.
Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
And President Reed?
Aye. And this item number 19 passes 4-2. Okay, moving on to new business was item 1, still 1-20. This is a waiver petition. It's petition 2024-02-02-03 submitted by Stonefield Engineering and Design on behalf of Haggerty Six Partners LLC, seeking approval of all plans in connection with buildings F and I pursuant to Council Resolution number 135-24, which previously approved a waiver use at the shops at College Park as part of a planned general development located on the north side of 6 Mile Road between Haggerty Road and Fox Drive in the southwest quarter of Section 6. Council? Councilwoman?
I'm going to make a motion to approve.
I'll support.
Motion by Persicone, support by Budzinski. Any comments from council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. I unfortunately wasn't here to attend the meeting last time when this was discussed. And I would absolutely love to support Fogo de Chao and welcome them to our community. I am very much looking forward to their presence and their investment. And I am very much looking forward to the city and council to ensure that that area adjacent, with Fox Drive and the Wayne County installation through Schoolcraft for the light gets completed in a timely manner. and maybe have an update from the administration and engineering to find out when that's going to be completed. I also have a lot of concerns in reference to the car wash, but, you know, at this point, I don't see what we can do in reference to that, and I just wanted to welcome them to our community. Thank you.
Okay, cool, thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye, and item number 1 or 20 passes 6-0. Any additional audience communication? If you have not spoken at the beginning of the meeting, you have 3 minutes.
I'm good.
It's fixed, okay. Please state your name and address for the
Hi.
record.
Deb Christensen, Livonia, Michigan. This is regarding the proposed police station. So here, I'm not here to make any friends, but I might make some enemies with what I'm going to say right now. So the way that I see it, and I could be way off, you'll let me know, we have a couple of city council members that were, okay, no, let me start with this. Last year, we had a vote on the millage, which was voted down, as we now heard, is like 70%, okay? And it was for the proposed buildings, et cetera. So during that time also, we had an election of 4 new council members. And I know that out of all the people that were running, 2 of the people that made it into the city council accepted money from the mayor. And one of those folks made the presidency. And then that person has the authority to appoint or state who's going to be on what committees and who's going to be the chair of those committees. And so it shouldn't come to any surprise to any of us that then Robin, who is an attorney, which would make more sense that she's on the Law and Education Committee, she was appointed to the Capital Outlay and Infrastructure Committee. So, and I know that some of those, like both of those folks, were a yes vote. And so here we are. This is not, like Councilwoman Persicone had said earlier, that she just brought this up in January about the police station. I don't believe that. I believe that this has been talked about, because we as a community, we're like, what is the second plan if this doesn't get voted in? Well, here's the second plan. And we're being snowballed by this administration, and you guys are complicit. And I am angry about that. I am.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
John Schaefer, Brookfield Street, across the street there. A couple things on the police station. I think we're in need of the fire station before police station, just to get the proper fire trucks and training facilities on that. With the vote that was done and everything else, my biggest stance on that was against having, sorry, some of the words are escaping me, privatization of our public land. And I saw a proposal that would have retail space involved with this police station. Again, I understand Wednesday we'll be able to get more information on that. But I want to be stated clearly that any time there's a consideration of having public land go into retail space, I am against that. I don't think that we need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the other things that I want to address with the council, I've been to a few of the council meetings now, and it seems like there's waiver after waiver after waiver. And with the recent LAD purchase and development where they want to build a bigger soccer dome facility, again, coming to council to ask for waivers. We have codes for a reason. We have specific reasons for the way that the city is developed. And I have seen numerous waivers. A lot of the things in the agenda are waivers. So I would really like council to take serious consideration into granting waivers. Otherwise, what's the point of even having a code if you're just going to waiver everything? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jerry Karasinski again from Bainbridge Street. I'd like to talk some more about the police station project. I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about it, but we're going to go one more round. My personal concern is that there's an operating millage up for renewal for police and fire. There's also an issue then with getting that millage approved, and then I believe there's some contract negotiations. So in those two instances, I don't necessarily believe that it's in the city's best interest to put this issue, which has some controversy associated with it, before those two items are resolved. I then want to talk about a little bit about what we learned at the last committee meeting. The finance director pointed out that $27 million was left on the table because they're not adding the 1% processing fee. My comment to that is I'm offended as a resident and taxpayer, and I'd just like to say just because you can doesn't mean you should. So I would hope that if you are considering that, please give that some serious consideration before you go ahead and follow through with that. The last thing has to do with related to the $110 to $120 million backlog of infrastructure repairs and improvements that have been cited by the city. There is no sinking fund. So one of the things that the mayor had suggested is the $4 million for capital improvements would be used for the police station. We need a longer-term solution than just this one building. So I would ask that you all seriously consider exactly what that would be related to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Leslie
Oh, wait,
Redd.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You already spoke at the beginning of the meeting.
I just want to request
You
that
can
my
only-
name and address be redacted from the public record because
Okay.
of the threat that I received earlier.
Okay.
Thank you, both on video and in writing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Council?
Council President, I realized in offering the summaries of my committee, I noted the motions that were made, but the motions weren't made or voted on tonight. So I would just ask if Vice President Brockway wanted to make those motions, or I am able to make those motions myself.
We don't actually make motions in committee. They do have to be made at the regular rate.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, we can make these motions. I'm just offering the Vice President opportunity.
You have the wording in front of you. I would say go ahead.
Okay,
I'm fine
I
with
will
that.
motion requesting the law department draft an ordinance on expanding the ability of the inspection department to issue civil infractions for vacancy and blight.
Support.
Motion by Budzinski, support by Persicone. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience on this one? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald? Aye. Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye, and that passes 6-0. Ms. Budzinski?
Secondarily, I would like to request the law department draft a one-year moratorium on data centers to allow time to update zoning ordinances to reflect best practices for building standards using the German Energy Efficiency Act as a model.
Support.
Motion by Budzinski, support by Persicone. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember Persicone?
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik?
Aye.
Vice President Brockway?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald? Aye. Councilmember Budzinski?
Aye.
President Reed?
Aye, that passes 6-0. Ms. Budzinski, any more?
Nope, that's all, thank you.
Okay, council?
I just got one.
Mr. Brockway?
Just to clarify, just any statements that made about the voting at the for the location of the voting, I just want to say I have total respect and admiration for the clerk's office and all involved, including the engineering department. I do have respect for your guys' departments. So in case it didn't come across as that, my feelings are more toward just the accessibility of the building and my opinion on whether or not it was ADA compliant. That is my opinion, as opposed to a declaration. So just want to make a clarification.
Anything else from council?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to adjourn.
Oh, support.
Motion by
We're tired
Tashnik,
at
support by Persicone. We'll be back at 9 6:30.